What is going on, guys? Rodney here with Crypto Bros. Welcome to tonight's video. Tonight we are talking about a blockchain 3.0 project called Universa. In my personal opinion, I definitely think Universa is underrated. I personally don't own any, but after spending the last 4 or 5 days doing research, I think it has a ton to offer. I would be doing it a disservice if I were just to say this is a blockchain 3.0 project, focuses on high scalability, high throughput, enterprise level transaction, and has a business focus. And while that is technically true, Universa itself focuses on the tokenization of anything that you can almost think of. And what it does is it ties that into real-time executable smart contracts and uses that to help businesses fully utilize blockchain technology. We will be talking about all of that in tonight's video. This is like the third time I've shot it because my first two were pretty long. So I am going to hustle through this. But before we jump right in, I do want to say thank you guys so much for all these subscriptions. I seriously appreciate you there. We're approaching 5,000 subscribers. So as we get a little closer to that, we will be doing another giveaway in celebration. All that being said, let's jump right in. We are going to do a quick recap of price points and kind of token economics. So currently, Universa is ranked 277 in market cap. With a total market cap of $23 million, circulating supply 1.8 billion tokens, with a total supply of essentially 5 billion tokens. If you're curious as to where you can get it, you can pick it up on HITBTC, Livecoin, and Cobinhood. Not a ton of volume and not a ton of hype really surrounding this project. One thing I definitely think they're lacking in terms of kind of where it's currently trading. 1.2 down from an all-time high of essentially 4.5 cents. At that same time, it was also valued at 439 satoshis, currently trading at 178 satoshis. You know, we're actually not going to flip right over to the website because I don't think the website does a very good job at painting the picture of what Universa is actually capable of and what they're trying to do. Yes, it talks about their blockchain and how fast it is and the problems they're solving, but it really misses the point of the fact that it's able to execute fairly complicated smart contracts in real time to help businesses or really whatever activate and move kind of in that real-time concept, which is very important in today's business atmosphere. So the first thing we're actually going to check out is this article right here. I will post the links all down below, but this really is kind of like the basis of how it got started. So Universa was originally being developed not necessarily as a cryptocurrency, but as a distributed system specifically for executing smart contracts. Therefore, the Universa platform does not depend on mining, which helps it result in the high speed, high transaction, and low cost that it's able to offer today. This is actually where it gets kind of into the technical piece, and we're actually going to jump over to the white paper. I will say I 100% read this word for word, top to bottom, all the way through. The middle of the white paper gets pretty technical, so we're going to stick with this overview standpoint. If you guys are curious for some other use cases, those are all the way down at the bottom, but it says Universa platform is a new generation blockchain technology. It uses a contract execution machine and distributed ledger with an emphasis of tokenization and contractual agreements. Where traditional blockchains primarily transact using currencies, Universa is designed to support token representation of everything from passports to boarding passes to bus tickets or taxi fees. They can be gift cards, vouchers, or gym membership cards. You might even make a token representing your title deed or just the keys to your house. The point of all this is that they've kind of developed this smart contract, real-time execution piece, so you are able to tokenize whatever it is and have it, you know, react, do its job, fulfill the contract in real time. You know, I don't really want to get into all this piece, but when they're talking about the actual kind of how the blockchain works, right here it says, in other words, instead of stacking blocks to make a single full ledger, each set of changes to the contract is applied by clients in a separate contract chain to the previous state. The outcome would be vectorized and hash only. They've kind of come up with their own system where the blockchain itself only executes on the contract piece. All the data storage will be kind of in a cloud-based system and throughout their C chains. Right down here, it talks about their actual nodes. It says nodes in the Universa system are owned and operated by our partners. They must be licensed, authorized by Universa Corporation. They are trusted, trained, and audited. They provide guarantees of availability, speed, and security rather than a unknown miner or someone who isn't trustworthy. So they're going that route. Again, this is what gives them ability to scale up to 20,000 transactions per second. Then it says the only work being done on machines in the Universa cloud is the mission critical data handling and the contract execution. This does not require expensive GPU hardware. The blockchain is only responsible for enforcing the validity of the state of transactions, while the notary cloud acts as a verifiable warehouse for signatures of the original contracts. As we get deeper into this, talks a little bit about more how this system works, consensus, the network, etc. What I do actually want to skip down to is just some of the use cases. Then we're going to actually jump back to the article. Here, obviously, you can see I have a lot of stuff highlighted, but some common things that it's used for, and I highly recommend reading through some of these. I'm not going to go through all these for time's sake, but banked-back tokens, invoice contracts, different types of escrow accounts, digital stock exchange or stock market transactions, selling an apartment, digital autonomous organization contracts, all these different things. Really interesting piece. You know, if we're going to continue to talk about the actual use cases, I think this really does a nice job. Saying, for example, you can use it as a vehicle key or a smart key. You know, with a smart contract created, your smart key can unlock your car or somebody else's for like a ride sharing or car sharing application. Same general concept can be used in terms of like a gym membership pass where you scan your little key card, maybe like a card to enter your office building, hotel, all that type of stuff. Incorporates with Internet of Things and smart homes, you know, gas stations, toll roads, you know, parking structures. All these things can be built and tokenized through their blockchain and through their actual smart contracts that interact and do the job that they need to do in real time. So that's why I think this is really, really interesting. And this part of the article really ties it all together. This is where Universe actually says, you know, we are the inventor of smart money. So it says, business logic of Bitcoin and blockchain is limited by wallets and their balances. Smart contracts on Ethereum operate with a limited set of metadata. Neither of the two blockchains can cope with the simple task of linking a fixed amount of money to a smart contract in the currency required for a specific business at the moment. Talking about, you know, euros or dollars. Universa allows to create and transfer existing currencies as well as a new one through the actual contract. Universa provides a gateway of services that automatically accept electronic documents and creates standard output documents based on the rules and provisions of the smart contract. Implementation of Universa makes the transaction of electronic commerce very cheap. And then it goes on to kind of talk about, you know, by using their system, how you can actually trade and interact all sorts of goods and services, provide loans, exchange and sell securities. Very interesting piece here. I'll post the link to this article below. Short read, easy read, just gives a good understanding of Universa. If we actually flip over to their website, again, and I didn't start with this just because I didn't think it did a great job at kind of portraying all that Universa has to offer. Obviously, it says, you know, faster transactions, smarter contracts, and yes, it is fully customizable. They raised $28 million in their ICO. And then it just kind of goes through, you know, the basic things. They talk about the problems, the solutions, you know, how Universa can benefit, you know, individual businesses. This is where I think it gets interesting. And again, we'll just kind of touch on this. It says the fastest and most scalable digital asset enabling real-time contracts and apps anywhere in the world. Again, talks about the scalability, 20,000 transactions per second, which puts it obviously very towards the top of the list. Here it just goes into their ecosystem, how everything could potentially work together. Goes again into their use cases, real-time global payments, multi-sig and escrow out of the box, smart contracts for real business-to-business offline transaction support, liquidity, you know, super fast transactions for, you know, Internet of Things, you know, things being paid, etc. But as we jump down into the roadmap, doing fairly well. Not an overly complicated roadmap. They're really kind of on track here. For being Q1 of 2018. These aren't necessarily checked, but that doesn't mean that they don't have these things accomplished. One thing that's very important to know here is that Universa actually has their mainnet launched. We'll quickly check that out, and we'll move on. But here's the head guy here. So this is Alexander. He's the CEO. Business angel, entrepreneur, investor in blockchain economy and Shapeshift, Unicorn, BitAccess, 95 startups in his portfolio for 8x ROI. Founder of the #1 crowd investing platform in Russia, blockchain educational program director at a Russian university. And then as we get down to their team, these guys are, again, very well endowed, a lot of experience, a lot of depth they can bring to the project, all kinds of different things. Once we actually get down into their team, this isn't necessarily a small team. 12 low-level architects, lead developers, 9 mobile developers, 8 QA managers, 5 designers for their user interface and user experience, 3 project managers, and 25 plus years in security, specifically from their CTO. Again, their CEO is very, actually, I've got this, let's see if I can pull this up. He's just very engaged. He does a lot of speaking arrangements. He's at a lot of different engagements. He just does a lot for its community. I am surprised that, these guys lack in hype. Specifically in comparison to maybe like an EOS or a Cardano. Obviously, both of those are very well endowed, important projects to the space, but these guys are right behind them, and I do think with that super low market cap that there is some some potential for some long-term gains if that is your ordeal. Just flipping over to their actual their mainnet, which is live. I can literally create a new smart contract here if I want to. Wallets, keys, etc. We're not going to spend a lot of time here, but jumping over to their social media, I always like to just check this out. 11.3 K followers on Twitter, but even more importantly than that, these guys actually have a couple super key and important partnerships. One is Apex Free, who is investing $7 million into the Universa blockchain, just to give you an idea of, and they're actually also doing that in exchange for stake in the company, but to give you an idea about what Apex Free is a platform for cross-cutting integration and consolidation of software projects, technologies, services, robots, and solutions to obtain synergies from the integration and automation of business processes for professional services provision. So, this kind of goes hand in hand. Some good synergies between the two companies where they're actually going to be building it says we'll invest $7 million in the protocol and blockbuster platform to build the business applications for Universa blockchain platform. Also, another huge partnership, and really I couldn't find much press about this, but at Davos 2018, they actually partnered and announced their partnership with Ernst Young, which is a huge worldwide, it's considered #4 in terms of the big four, but huge worldwide company there. So that's a huge partnership. And just kind of moving on here, guys, they, last but not least, John Mcafee is actually is an advisor on their board. Obviously, that's not featured on the website here, but it is worth noticing. I'm not sure if something went down with them prior, why he isn't featured on there now, but yes, he is an advisor on the board. Just kind of tying all of this together. If we think about maybe the market cap of EOS or the market cap of Cardano, maybe even Zilliqa, if you will, those are $1 billion. I think EOS is maybe like $7 billion currently. Cardano might be around $3 billion currently. Even if these guys do like a fourth or an eighth of what Cardano or EOS have done, this still puts them very at a very good point in the cryptocurrency space. Not only necessarily from like an ROI standpoint. Obviously, if these guys are $1 billion company, that is a huge return on investment if you are invested in this project, but also just for the space, usability, the overall good of cryptocurrency. So yes, I am fairly bullish on Universa. I don't remember if I mentioned this in this video or not. I am not currently invested in this project, but the more research that I've done over the past 4 or 5 days, I really think that there is some serious potential here for this project specifically to do some big things second half of 2018, 2019, and 2020. Time is obviously on our side here because there's a lot to do, but with some adoption, with some proper marketing, Universa could definitely be, in the top 100 coins. I mean, 277 isn't crazy, but with a current market cap of 23 mil, that's to get at least some gains out of there, ton can be done. So all that being said, guys, that is all I have for you. As always, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say is financial advice. Appreciate you tuning in. If you guys haven't had a chance to subscribe to the channel yet, swing over here, hit that subscribe button. You don't even have to hit the bell. Just know I love you. You guys have a great night, and I will check you later.